Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and I am a Vista leader that is currently serving with Keep America Beautiful in Stamford, Connecticut. The AmeriCorps Vista program is the domestic version of the Peace Corps. It was created back in the 1960s as the domestic sister of the International Peace Corps program. In 1993, AmeriCorps Vista, Vista was brought into the AmeriCorps family that sits underneath the umbrella of the Corporation for Community and National Service. If you want any more information about any of those programs, I would strongly advise you to go check them out. They are federal volunteer programs. So myself, as well as Vista members that I, as the Vista leader, am currently supporting, we are federal volunteers, and we are giving a year of our life to national service for our country. The Keep America Beautiful Vista program is primarily focused on keeping America beautiful through gardening and community garden projects, with a focus on food equity and food justice. And maybe in the coming weeks we'll have an opportunity to get some of the Vistas that are currently serving with Keep America Beautiful on here to talk about some of their projects and some of the little ways that they are trying to continue to keep America beautiful in this time that we are being asked collectively to sacrifice by isolating in place and doing our part. And so one of the things that I plan to do during this time is start my own victory garden. Victory garden might be a familiar phrase that you heard back in history classes. Victory gardens were something that the American public participated in during World War I and World War II. And over the last couple years, I've been researching them because there's been this significant push for us all to participate in more gardening, but from a climate perspective, because gardening is a great way, and there are certain garden practices that we can implement, is a great way to sequester carbon from the environment. And it's a great way to address not just your own individual food security, if you have your own garden, or a community food security, if you help implement and plant a community garden, but it's also a way that we can all individually and then collectively be helping to combat climate crisis, or the climate crisis and climate change. I'll get into more of that later, but one of the statistics that I came across this last year that just blew my mind and I thought was just so powerful that I wanted to share is that in the height of World War II, in 1944, that there were over 20 million victory gardens planted in this country. Now that equated to 8 million tons of food, and that was 40% of all the food consumed by American citizens and our troops were grown in victory gardens. Now here's the banana things. Like, you can see, like, looking around, I obviously grew up in farm country. We had poultry, we grew up with a garden, and so my naive agrarian roots thought, well, what a big deal. Like, in 1944, like, everybody must have had their own garden, and they were just asking you to plant an extra row of corn or tomatoes. But in fact, most of our population had already moved to population centers, much in the way that we live today. And so there are, that this is something that as I continue to self-isolate with my family, I'm going to start my victory garden for the climate. I'm going to start it for COVID-19. I'm going to start it for my community. I'm going to start it for my own health and wealth. Maybe not wealth, but my own health, and especially my own mental health, and my belly, and so on and so forth. Now I'm just being silly. But as I begin to plant those seeds and kind of break that ground, I'll come back and share a little more about that. But I also just wanted to plant the seed that we as a nation have a collective framework for this. We've done this before, and that this is something that we all, whether we are living in the beautiful Shenandoah Valley or we are gardening out of flower pots and patio gardens, that this is something that we all can be contributing in small ways to not only keep America beautiful, but to keep our bellies happy. So as this progresses, I'll be checking back in. I hope everybody's doing well, washing their hands, not touching their face. You can see I have a bad habit of that. And heeding the warnings and isolating in place. So cheerio, and we'll talk soon. Bye.